Welcome back to Parenting Shrink Wrap. Melissa and Sam here, talking today about the end of the school year and the upcoming summer, which you can't see Sam right now if you're listening, and she's shaking her head at me.
It's like all bets are off. It's just
And I think, I'm feeling it as a parent right now, as I'm sure most parents are. I know the people I'm seeing in my office are feeling it. Like, May is always a hard month. After we come back from spring break, it's this final push to get through the rest of the school year. It's a month and a half left, and everybody is burnt out. The teachers are burnt out. We're all, as parents, burnt out. The kids are burnt out. And it's not just the seniors graduating from high school. It's not just senioritis. Everybody is burnt. And we have to get through these last few weeks of the school year. And we also have this upcoming summer break, which for some people is 2 or 3 months long. And then if your kids aren't old enough to fend for themselves, what do you do with them all summer? So
this is going to be a short and sweet, because if you're burnt out, you don't have 45 minutes to hear about this. Like, we're going to try and keep this short, but we do feel like we need to talk about, like, how do you just close out the year with everybody in one piece? And that might be as high as the bar goes.
It's not need to be a shining star moment of the year, how you end the school year.
No, like, May, right? Like, all of the concerts and all of the art shows and all of the awards and all of the, like, presents that you're, like, teacher appreciation.
All the playoffs for all the sports teams.
Yes, all of it. It's everything. And it's hot, and well, depending on where you live, it's hot, right? And you're burnt out from school, but then the other piece is there's this, like, frenetic, can't wait till summer energy. And you put both burnout and, like, who the heck cares attitude, right? Like, I can't wait for summer. Everything's super fun. And the school building is mayhem. I spent 26 years in schools, and yeah, we're all limping. We are limping by the end of the school year. And that's why, like,
most of the teachers are parents too. So you're getting this double whammy. You've been caring for everyone else's kids and teaching them all year round, and you've got your own at home.
Yeah. When I first started teaching, I could rebound from the school year in about 2 weeks. Like, it took me about 2 weeks to just regroup. And then I was ready to, like, jump into professional development and do more school things. Like, yeah, I liked my job. But then as the years went on, it would take me longer and longer and longer until, like, it was taking me the whole summer. And
Sam, I remember your first summer when you had stopped and resigned from your school position.
Yeah.
And you were so excited.
I know. I was like, I know. And I wasn't excited to leave my school community.
I know that.
I miss the people, but not the pace, because it's demanding. So let's just acknowledge that, right? Your kids their lunch boxes are coming home uneating. Like, who knows how many of your child's belongings are in that lost and found, and whether they're actually going to go look for it. And when they do, if they're going to come home and if it's going to be so stinky because they've been, like, marinating in stench for months. I know I'm speaking somebody else's story. It can't just be mine, right? So the end of the year crash is real, right? We've got short tempers, low motivation, there's forgetfulness, and, like, why bother?
Who cares anymore? Like, nobody, everybody's done. So It's very normal to feel burnt out. And I think you really need to recognize that for yourself too, that, like, it's okay if you're feeling burnt out. And it's a stress response. So instead of trying to insist that everything go perfectly, it's time to kind of take a step back and go, we're all really stressed out. I'm not going to add more stress to the plate. So you know what? I don't have it in me to cook dinner tonight. Here's the box of Cheerios.
Yeah, right. Like, some things are going to have to give. And here's the hard part, though. When you've got older kids and they have end of year exams, or they're juniors and they're taking the June SAT or ACT, right? And these are consequential academic experiences at a time when they are not well prepared or ready for, like, they're burning out, and studying isn't going well. So to the extent you can, that's when you have to drop expectations elsewhere.
Yeah.
right? Like
So like
something's going to give.
if something's got to give, like they hand in an essay that is like more of like a grade of like a B versus their typical A work because they are studying for one of those like big standardized tests, like you kind of have to lower that bar a little bit and take some of the pressure off, because then they're really not going to be able to perform on something that has significant impact to the
Yeah.
rest of their educational career.
Also, something to think about. This is, as a teacher, I used to see, and this is pretty consistent, grades on final exams, not necessarily midterm exams, because there's a little more juice in the tank at that point, but final exams were consistently about a full letter grade lower than they were achieving in the class. So let's say we had like a B plus student. For that student to get a C plus on the final exam, that was not in that was fairly typical by the end of the school year, and that's annoying and hard to swallow sometimes. But hopefully schools recognize that. So that, like this isn't college, like the final exam isn't. It's not 50% of your grade, like it's a component of your grade, and it teaches kids how to take big tests under times of duress and when they're not emotionally or mentally
and
there.
college is structured so differently, Sam. Like you're talking about semesters or trimesters for some colleges, but most colleges run on a semester system. So they haven't been in the same class with the same teacher since from August and September and through May or June.
Mm-hmm.
It's, August to December. And then there's a reset that happens after winter break in college. So there's kind of a little bit of a reinvigoration for a shorter duration of time. It's different.
It is and that's true too. The college semester is like mid-January to early May, right? So it's like generally a month shorter, if not more. So when you're thinking about all of this, just cut yourself some slack, cut your kids some slack, and do find joy in those little moments if you can. But if you can't, just know that like you too can limp into summer, and there's no crime in that. There's no.
And as you limp into summer, I think you need to also then set appropriate expectations for summer. Like, we don't need this perfect Pinterest summer where this calendar is covered in all of these amazing things being done on a day-to-day basis. Kids definitely need some structure to their summers, but it doesn't need to be a highly planned out summer either for it to be a good summer.
Right. And it's okay for kids to sometimes get bored, right? One thing that I don't love for kids, and this happens for some of them, is for them to lose touch with their social life during the summer. So that's just one thing that I would say, like prioritize that, like not necessarily exclusively, because if you've got a social butterfly, then the summer is just, hey, remember you've got summer reading at some point in August you've got to take care of, right? But keep connections strong at the same time that you're emphasizing productivity. But yeah, just set the bar low.
It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And I think for the older teens and adolescents, a lot of them may have a summer job or a volunteer, and some of that can be very rewarding. And even if it's 10 hours a week, like I don't push the full-time summer job, because these kids also need some downtime. Like they actually need some of that boredom.
They do.
I think.
Like I said, it used to take me 2 weeks to bounce back from a school year, and by the end of my career, it was like, then it was a month, but it was like 6 or 7 weeks I needed to just decompress from the school year, because I was getting older and I just didn't have as much, generally speaking, gas in the tank for myself. Like it didn't fill up as high anymore because I was approaching 50.
And if you're a stay-at-home parent and now your kids are not in school during the day, so I think when that happens, if you are a stay-at-home parent, like those days can seem long and dragging, you don't know what to do. It's okay to say like, hey, I'm going to go do this, and you can go spend an hour on, your tablet. And like, I'm going to go spend an hour on my tablet. And like, that's okay. Like if you need that decompression time because they're not going off to school for 6 to 8 hours of the day, like that's fine.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will caution is that like summer can be a vortex of screens. And I know that's right. Like like, because it's easy, it's accessible, it's also addictive for both of, it doesn't matter your age, but particularly for kids, and there's lots of research around that. So the only thing I would say is, like, to the extent you can get your kids outside doing something, moving their body, reading, contributing in some way. This is a friend years ago when my children were in preschool. So I don't know, we've got a range of listeners, but she did something that she called Alphabet Summer. And she and her kids would get together and they would come up with 26 activities to do over the course of the summer that began with each letter of the alphabet.
Well, that's
And
fun.
then isn't that fun? And then she would put it together, and they were like, some of them are really mundane things. Like B Day might be bubbles. And if anyone wanted to come over, you could come blow bubbles on their front steps, right? But she put it out there, and like there was a bunch of us families who knew that Alphabet Summer was going on, and like we could attend any of the Alphabet Summer events. Oh, it was Olympic Day, and she had some like random Olympic, Dizzy Bat game was one of the things in her backyard. It was like the backyard Olympics. Now that's great for little kids, but what I'm suggesting is this mom found a loose way to anchor her summer without a whole lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that with older kids by saying, like, I want to see you move your body 5 days a week, and like Monday through Friday, if you don't have a job, like I want you waking up by 9 a.m. Like something where you, I don't know.
Some structure. You have to create some structure, I think, still.
Yeah, some structure. And some novelty a little bit. Alphabet Summer did it for the preschoolers, but some novelty for the older kids. But it doesn't have to be every day. Like, you don't have to.
No.
I was talking with my daughter yesterday where I was driving her home from college, and she was reminiscing about the cartoon Phineas and Ferb. Did your kids ever watch that? Do you know that cartoon?
I've never heard of that.
Not on anymore. It was terrific, but it said something like some number of days, something days, and summer vacation, and then I can't remember the theme song, but those of you, those listeners whose kids watched Phineas and Ferb will remember Phineas and Ferb were these two kids who were always like doing these random inventions. They were getting into these crazy hijinks, and somehow they did it all while their parents weren't home. Like, they built time machines, and they encountered, they foiled plans to, rule the world by evildoers all during the day. This is a long way of saying your kids don't have to have a Phineas and Ferb summer, right? They don't have to have this like crazy overdone summer. But if you're looking for a funny cartoon that could be a show that your children enjoy watching with you and that you will enjoy watching with them because it's clever, you can find reruns of Phineas and Ferb. It was a terrific show.
But no matter how old your kid is, I think whether you're home full time with them or not, like, pick something once a week that you guys are going to do. It doesn't have to be any expensive or crazy. Like, it's not like we have to be taking these grandiose trips all the time over the summer, but something they want to do that you wouldn't maybe necessarily be able to do during the school year for whatever reason, I think is great.
I had one friend who, this is for older kids, who over the summer they decided that once there were 3 kids in the household, and each kid picked an evening each week, and they were responsible for dinner. They made the grocery list. They weren't responsible for going to the grocery store, but they had to load the grocery list so that the parents did the shopping and they brought home all the ingredients the kids needed. And then the kids were entirely in charge of dinner once a week. And first of all, that's terrific skill building. We get confidence by doing things that are a little beyond us and then pulling them off. That's how confidence grows. So these kids, if you make dinner every week for 8 or 9 weeks, like, you have 8 or 9 dinners. That's pretty awesome. And the parents don't have to make them. And anyway, that was one way that one family anchored their kids' summer for older children. I loved it.
I love it.
I learned
for
about
little
that
kids, involve them in gardening. If everything's growing and blooming, my kids help out with growing tomatoes and stuff like that, and they enjoy it.
Yeah. Lots of ways to do it, but just don't hold yourself to too high. Too high a standard. This is not that you need it from us, but this is Melissa and me giving you permission to phone it in sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, we are, we are like, this is what the world we swim in, raising healthy kids. And we have children of our own, and it just doesn't always look polished and perfect in our households.
No, definitely not in mine, Sam.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for being on Low Bar Parent with us. We love you. We can't wait to hear how your summers are going, train wrecks and all. Send us a message at parentingshrinkwrapped@gmail.com if you want to tell us your summer horror stories, or you've got topic ideas for us to hit this summer. And tune in for the next episode of Parenting Shrink Wrapped next week. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride called parenthood here at Parenting Shrink Wrapped. We hope today's episode gave you some useful tools and maybe even a few laughs to help you navigate the twists and turns of raising teens and kids.
Remember, parenting is a journey, not a destination. And no matter where you are on the road, we're here to help you stay on course. Whether it's monumental meltdowns, teenage turmoil, or just the everyday chaos, you don't have to travel this path alone.
So until next time, keep your seatbelt fastened, your sense of humor intact, and your eyes on the road. We'll be back soon with more compassionate conversations and practical strategies to support you and your family.
Don't forget to subscribe to Parenting Shrink Wrapped wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you've enjoyed today's show, we'd love it if you'd leave us a review and share it with a friend.
If you have suggestions for topics you'd like to see us cover in the future, feel free to send us an email at parentingshrinkwrapped@gmail.com.
Until we meet again, take care and enjoy the ride.